Boom. I
Impeach the
believe.
president.
Impeach the president.
When you get there, we are. There's our live thing. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to share that back to Facebook.
That's a good idea.
Mute. I'm sorry, Donna. What?
We're on YouTube today.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
live now. So
We are.
we're on YouTube today.
You know where to go.
Apparently. Okay. So you needed to go and do a thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna share this out a bunch of places first.
Nice.
And then
I'm doing the share thing myself. Good morning, everybody. Nice to be with you today. Share to a page you manage. Share to So Local Live. Boom. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to hashtag coffee. We're late getting started this morning. Cory was up doing strategery things.
yeah, let's call it strategy. That's what it was.
This being old is difficult sometimes because there's technical things that maybe would have occurred to me 15, 20 years ago just to automatically do. I've been like, we don't have our live TV service anymore. So I've been figuring out ways to watch things. And what I managed to find out last night is that there's a Firefox browser option for Fire TV. So the web address that you gave me, that where I can watch live, I ended up catching the last 2 hours of the impeachment last night, and I didn't think I could watch any of it live while sitting comfortably on the couch. I could do it if I was sitting over here at the work desk, but after a long day, I really wasn't feeling like doing that. So I was up till 2 a.m. watching the impeachment hearings, which were brave but depressing.
Yeah,
and I got some things to say about that this morning. Like I think there's a discussion to be had about what we saw yesterday and why it was important, why we shouldn't be too discouraged. So good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for posting a hello. What's different here on YouTube than was on Facebook is that we don't know that you're here until you post something in the comments. So please drop a comment in there. And of course, we would love it if you would like and share this video. And if you have not yet, we would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we are going to be doing more and more over here. You're going to see posts from us on Facebook, but not many live videos over there unless there's some big special event that we want to promote live. So it would behoove you, if you like our content and you want to support us, to go ahead and subscribe over here. And there's a little bell in the top right corner of your screen as you watch the YouTube video. That's how you can enable notifications, and we'd like for you to do that.
Yes.
So thank you.
Frickin' do it.
We're super excited that folks have begun to join us over here. We have a little over 100 subscribers right now, but we need 1,000 subscribers to begin to monetize our presence on YouTube. So that means we're going to need to invite more people in, and we would love for you to be part of that by saying, "Hey, these two crazy old guys with beards that talk progressive politics, and we love them, and you should too," and get people to come join us. So we'd appreciate that.
Absolutely. And if you'd like, we have our own kind of Patreon set up. You can go to solocal.live to give us money if you want to give us money. Even $1 would be great, honestly, just to know that people value our work is really good. Right now, we're barely paying the bills for the kind of things that we need to do to kind of keep things going monthly. And it would be really cool to have extra money to go buy a coffee. And so if you want,
clearly Greg needs a better webcam. So
clearly, and also the vast majority of any revenue that we get in, it's going to go first to make
we'll roll it right back in.
Show better. But if you want to buy us a coffee every month, you can go to solocal.live and hit the donate button and just put in $5, whatever it is. It really is helpful. Anyway,
nice. Okay. So, Ginny says make sure you select all notifications. So that's handy, because there's a lot of content here. Cory's been doing a lot of interviews related to cryptocurrency and that part of the world. So there's going to be a lot more happening here as time goes on.
Agreed. Just getting some comments. Good morning, everyone. Warren, Andreen, and Jinner.
That's Ginny Rupert. I am absolutely sure she changed her name again. I think that's probably what happened there.
Fair enough. Hey, Mom.
Yeah. Hashtag where were you when the U.S. fell? It kind of felt like that yesterday, didn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently this stream's bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. That's interesting. I could probably up it in Zoom.
I think you fix that in Zoom. I don't know exactly how.
Yeah, but not this time, I think.
Okay.
But we it's just stuff no one needs to know.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't pay attention to any of the impeachment stuff yesterday.
That's probably good for your mental health.
And that's why I think, right? Like I'm doing a bunch of other stuff, and I think that is why, right? Like the impeachment thing is going to kind of happen the way that it happens, and I know that it's history, and there's a good argument for why our show, the way that it's been constituted, should be like dialed in 1,000% to that. I just don't want to. It's like I'm just over it. Well, and I know that's horrible. It really is. Anyway.
Yeah. So are you going to go make coffee, or are you going to, because I just ran through the time period for which you should have done that. I did.
Shit. Please hold.
We're going to talk about Cory while he's away. Don't worry.
Please do. Say only mean things.
So I sent Cory a National Weather Service notice yesterday that the Miami National Weather Service office issued a falling iguana watch. And this is actually a true thing. If you're not from Florida, you may not know this, but we have standing breeding populations of many exotic invasive non-native species here in Florida. Iguanas are rampant in South Florida. They are all over the place. And when the temperature gets below about 44 degrees, they begin to get very, very cold. They overnight in trees. They stay up in the trees, and they get very cold and they go dormant. They don't die, but they begin to fall out of the trees and land on sidewalks and streets and in people's yards all over the place. So the National Weather Service actually issued a warning yesterday to beware of falling iguanas in South Florida. I sent Cory that. First of all, Cory Cory thinks I make a lot of stuff up about nature in Florida. Like, he doesn't believe that there are actually sharks and crocodiles here. But I think he thought I was making the whole iguanas in South Florida thing up until he got down there. And he was on the phone with me the other day. He was walking down the street. He's like, "Holy fuck, there's a giant lizard." I was like, "Yeah. Oh my God, there's an even bigger one." So he was surprised to find out there were actually iguanas in South Florida. So he was unconvinced about the falling iguanas thing. At least I thought so. But then this morning, coincidentally, maybe suspiciously, he overslept and didn't go to the beach this morning. I think Cory was secretly afraid of having iguanas fall on him. So that's yeah. That's a thing that happened. Now I don't even want to tell him about some of the other exciting and interesting and adrenaline charging wildlife that he might find in South Florida because of our temperate climate. That's a problem that Florida has that maybe no other state besides Hawaii has such a severe problem with, is invasive species get here from the tropics, and people dump them out of their aquariums or let them go into the wild. Jen, thank you so much. You are amazing. Ginny just dropped $50 on us. We got to make sure and tell Cory that when he comes back, because that's awesome. Thank you very much. Anyway, Florida is a semi-tropical climate, which means that you can release iguanas, Nile monitors, pythons, piranha, snakeheads, all sorts of nasty creatures into our environment, and they will likely survive, especially south of Lake Okeechobee, which is down in the south central part of the state. Up here where I live near Tampa Bay, it does get a little too cool for them to overwinter. However, we have seen I was in the water once with a Burmese python that was well over 10 feet long, and we had no idea what the fuck was going on. We didn't know that was a thing that happened this far north. And we told a game ranger, we told a Game and Freshwater Fish Commission officer on the river about it, and he didn't believe us. He thought, what have you kids been smoking? Ha ha ha. 5 years later, I open up the St. Pete Times, and there's a picture on the front page of the Upper Suncoast section of 5 guys standing in somebody's backyard holding a 12-foot Burmese python that they had killed in their backyard. And that's north of us. That was in Crystal River where that happened. So down where Cory is, exotic wildlife is a real thing that happens. And I told Cory, I told everybody that I suspect you didn't really oversleep this morning. You were just too chicken shit to go out and have iguanas fall on you out of the sky.
I've had so many people, like Kathy Brinkman actually messaged me that, like, "Hey, don't let any iguanas fall on you." Like, this is apparently a ubiquitous thing. Yeah, Greg sent me this thing yesterday. There was like a real warning, like, be careful of falling iguanas, because that's the thing we have to do.
Well, the funny part is that they're not dead, and I guess what happens is people think they're dead, they go to scoop them up with a shovel, and the iguana comes back to life and scares the shit out of people.
Dude, that's just funny.
Yeah, welcome to the tropics, buddy.
Huge thank you to Ginny that apparently
Yeah.
just made a donation to the channel. That's fucking like, you're awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
That's really helpful.
And you know, and like, I don't want anybody that's in the thread watching us to feel bad that they can't do that. But what you can do is you can share, you can like, you can invite people to come watch us. You know, you can put them in touch with us to find out the details about what we do and why. And we would love to have more folks here.
Agreed.
So
agreed.
Yeah. So I vamped through telling the story of how Cory never believes my crazy Florida wildlife stories.
If there was any to not believe, that would be one. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I sent him the picture of the graphic from the National Weather Service. He's like, that's not real? Yeah, buddy. And by the way, that got picked up nationally. Like, it was reported all over the country by news agencies that South Florida's National Weather Service had issued a falling iguana watch for the overnight hours. But truthfully, that's why you didn't go to the beach today, isn't it? You were afraid of.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's the best. And now, granted, like, I went to take the dogs out when I finally did get up at 7:30 after the sunrise was already happened. Anyway, so I went to take the dog. It's fucking cold. Like,
yeah, I know that a little north of you in Fort Lauderdale, there's a population of, are they called Kinkajous?
I'm sorry. What? Now you're again
making
words up.
No, the South American raccoon-like creature. They look like a cross between a lemur and a raccoon. They're people that feed feral cat colonies often encounter these guys. There are hundreds of them in Fort Lauderdale.
No, denied.
Okay, all right. You know, and I was joking around that I haven't even told you about some of the more fucking frightening wildlife that lives with you down there. There are snakeheads, the famous fish from Asia that literally bite people, the freshwater fish that bite people. Those are down there in the canals, and piranha in South Florida as well. They're wild.
I'm cool with it. Actually, I want to start long distance swimming in the ocean.
That good, cool, yeah. Giant hammerhead sharks, and
that's a thing. That's gonna happen. Okay, so I was just checking to see.
No. So not a Pikachu, a Kinkajou. Did you guys not watch Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom when you were kids? Because Kinkajou, Marlon Perkins showed up several times with a Kinkajou.
Making this shit up.
No, I'm absolutely not. I'm going to look it up right now. You smart Alex.
So Ginny, I think it actually went through twice. So DM me. I can figure out how to refund one of them.
The Kinkajou is a tropical rainforest mammal of the family Procinidae, related to olingos, coatis, raccoons, and the ringtail and kakamustal. It is the only member of the genus Potus, also known as the honey bear, not related to the sun bear. So screw you guys. It's a real thing. Here, I'm going to link you to the Wikipedia page. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Honey bears. Yes, see, Ginny knows. Ginny's not just a supporter of hashtag coffee. She's also very, very smart, which is why she's a supporter, frankly, because she knows. So Kinkajous are a real thing, and there are breeding populations of them down there where you're living now. And you're going to see when you're, to take one of these home. They're beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I got to Fort Lauderdale. I go to Fort Lauderdale, get Kinkajous with my white and red ball. They are electric. Haha, it's another Pokemon reference. There's what that is. So thank you, Dave, for that. All right, so we want to talk a little impeachment stuff.
Yeah,
here's something I want to let everybody know that this show started locally up here in Central Florida in Pasco County, and we have some really amazing local musicians and talented people up here. Among them, our friends Marty Lindemann, Pete Popolo, and their roving band of misfits known as Papa Crawdaddy. These are guys in their 50s and 60s that their energy level on stage is shameful to younger bands because they are astonishing. They're like a blues and R&B band. And Pete, has, like when he starts talking about the people that he's toured with as a supporting musician, it's impressive. I mean, this is a guy who's been playing music professionally for 40 years now, 45 years now. But Pete offered last night, he's written some new songs that are sort of related to our national crisis. and he wrote one called "We the People," and he has offered for us to be able to use "We the People" royalty free as a show tune. And I haven't put it together yet. How I have to get the file from him, but expect that we'll have we can't play "Impeach the President" because we absolutely don't own the rights to it. And until we had those rights, I'd be uncomfortable with us getting kicked off of YouTube. But I wanted to thank Pete so much. He reached out to me last night in a beautiful long message about how much he appreciates what we do. He's never up these hours. You don't see him in the thread because he's out gigging 3-4 nights a week, and he's usually up till 4 or 5 in the morning. So this is middle of the night for Pete. But at midnight last night, which is, like 3 in the afternoon, he messaged me that he wanted to give us permission. He's a big fan of what we do, and he's proud that we might use one of his songs. So thank you, Pete Popolo. Those of you that knew that I put on the 2 Vote Fest events here in Pasco County, Pete's band played both of those events. I think they're the only band that played both, if I'm not mistaken. So super excited. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Papa Crawdaddy. We appreciate that you guys love us. We love you right back.
Agreed.
Yeah. Pete's got a place at any gig I ever do. Anytime I'm ever looking for bands, Pete's the first guy I call because they're amazing. Yeah.
So indeed.
Yeah. All right. So while the impeachment was going on last night, this is maybe something that's worth mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
There's a group called American Oversight.
Oh, yeah.
And American Oversight is a small nonprofit that has been FOIA requesting documents that the White House has refused to turn over to Congress. Now, this is really interesting that these are documents that the impeachment managers, the committee chairs, Intel Oversight, the people that we're watching make the case in the Senate right now. They've been requesting these documents from the White House for a year, and the White House has stonewalled them all the way along. But what's been happening is American Oversight has been using Freedom of Information Act request and court process to get those documents, and they've been getting those documents. So there's a link right there to the American Oversight latest document tranche is 192 pages of Ukraine records from the Office of Management and Budget. And some of it was heavily redacted, but the very first thing that I heard last night was that one of the things in there was an email from the day before the perfect phone call that was a coordination email for how they were going to coerce the president of Ukraine into doing this illegal thing. So this is important, right? This is the astonishing thing to me is the House is now arguing, the impeachment manager is now arguing in the Senate to allow things like these documents into the trial, and Mitch McConnell and the Republicans universally are rejecting seeing new evidence. Guess why? They don't want to see new evidence because they know there's evidence. And I know we're all maybe a little frustrated if we watched yesterday, but it was important that we did because, 2 things. First of all, we're not in the moment when decisions are going to be made about guilt or innocence yet. All that happened yesterday had to do with procedure and rules. What are the rules that are going to govern the impeachment process in the Senate? It was depressing, but incredibly brave to watch the House managers make their case for amendments to that rule set. That's all that got rejected yesterday was amendments to the rules that will govern the hearing. So we have not got to the moment where the Senate has decided that they will not entertain new witnesses or new documents. All that was decided yesterday was that those documents and witnesses will not be voted on until later in the process. It's ridiculous and it's not good, but it's not the last thing that will happen in this regard. So at some point today or over the next few days of the impeachment hearings, there will be an actual vote. So what's going to happen next is the impeachment manager is going to make the case for why the Senate would want to have these witnesses come before the Senate. And what they used their time to do yesterday, and I thought was actually really brilliant, was to make the case for why the senators should be listening. They were making their case more to the American people because they know that most people are going to watch that first day. And there were a lot of great questions asked about the process. And I think that may move some people. So the depressing thing was that the votes were up and down along party lines. All the amendments were tabled. They weren't voted down. They were tabled, which means nobody has to say they actually voted against it, right? That's a tactic by Mitch McConnell. But they were along party lines, 53-47, 53-47. At the end of the night, one of them was 52-48. Susan Collins moved on one of the amendments, and I thought that was interesting. Not that I trust Susan Collins is going to develop a spine and a conscience and do the right thing, but that there is some daylight here. And I believe the more the senators hear of the case in a way that they can't say they didn't read it or they didn't see it, the more likely it is that they're asked difficult questions back home about what's going on. Dave Myers, are we super excited about the fall of our republic this morning? No, I'm fucking frightened is what I am. Because what I don't want is 5 or 6 little republics in its place. I think that's a really, really bad idea. Yeah, Ginny, it's amazing to me. It amazes me how broken the government is. FOIA request equal yes, Congress equals no. What the fuck? That's the opposite of how things should function, right? FOIA requests were designed to be a way to get things that Congress wouldn't tell us, and it turns out that it's turning out to be a way for us to get information that the Congress can't get because the president is breaking the fucking law and obstructing a congressional investigation. And it's astonishing to me to watch the same attorneys that argued that you can't impeach, that you can impeach without a crime, now argue that you can't. Right? You know, that's Ken Starr was arguing the opposite side of this fight in the Clinton impeachment. It's terrifying. I saw somebody get cautioned yesterday. Oh, you know, comparing Trump to Hitler, be careful, you're going overboard. No, fuck off, because this is exactly how a dictatorship is born. It's not yet angry armed thugs in the street taking the government over by coup. It's the erosion of the process that keeps a dictator from happening. And that's exactly, Hitler didn't come to power the day he made it into the German legislature. It was years. It was eroding the stops that kept him from becoming a dictator. And we're eroding those stops in our process right now. Will it happen tomorrow? I don't know. Will it happen next year? I don't know. Will the president lose the election and not leave the office?
Yeah.
Who would stop him if he did? Right? If we let the president overrun Congress, the Senate, and the House on any issue now, then we risk, if not Trump, the next bad actor doing this very same thing. But this is a president I think is capable of deciding that, look at how often he calls any process that we've lived by for 100 years phony or fake or a hoax, right? All of these processes have been in place for 100 years or more. All of them have worked to keep us safe as a democracy. He mocks those things openly in public every fucking day. So why would you think he would act any differently about election outcomes? He already lied about having won the popular vote. He already lied about 5 million illegal aliens voting. So there.
Yeah.
Ginny, but Lindsey Graham taught me, oh, wait, they changed the rule to fit. Yeah, that's exactly what happened here. Dave, it's actually an exercise in futility. There's no way he gets removed, and they'll strut around again like it's a win. But it's not futile. Well, but even if it is futile, it's a stand we have to take.
I agree. But I agree with both statements, though, right? Like,
yeah,
it's absolutely something that they needed to do and have to do, and I believe long-term good will come from the attempt. But yeah, I mean, I actually tuned into MSNBC for about, honestly, 2 minutes yesterday. And it was to hear one of the Trump defenders lie twice in 2 minutes instantaneously. Like, just bold-faced, I am literally lying, like shit is coming out of my mouth. And I couldn't do it anymore. I just can't do it.
Hey, welcome, BubbleViz. New here, checking you out from Netherlands. Hey, nice. We have some friends that just moved from here over there. Do you know them?
Right? We have like a friend there. Do you know them?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, our laws are unfair to Trump, right? Yeah, it's almost like their constitution was written just to mock him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What a bunch of jerks.
Yeah, thank you, Ginny, for reminding me. Scott Hicks. If you were angry yesterday watching, Jay Sekulow got up and said Republicans weren't even allowed in the skiff.
That's
way, and that the president and his lawyers were not allowed to participate in the House hearings. He said it. He said it on the floor of the Senate, and I was furious. Can't somebody hold him accountable? Why isn't John Roberts, holding him in contempt? Blah blah blah. Well, Scott Hicks, our friend, we have an immigration attorney that we follow on Facebook, and I don't want to make out like I'm his personal friend. I only know him from his work in immigration on Facebook. He's a fairly conservative guy. He is an attorney. He works in the immigration system. He posts constantly about how broken it is and examples of, the just wait in line, do it the right way isn't possible. It isn't working. People die because of the way the system is designed. Anyway, he posted yesterday, I wonder what states Jay Sekulow and the other guy, Cipollone, are licensed in, because if you lie in a trial, you can lose your law license. You can be censured, lose your law license, and be disbarred.
Yes.
They lied on the floor of the Senate yesterday. They lied right out loud. And what was frustrating was that I watched Adam Schiff not call them liars, because you're not allowed to, right? That's not something you do on the floor of the Senate. You don't disparage other members or the people that are testifying. That's part of the dignity of the body, and blah 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 blah.
Right. They're trying to avoid
watching him say that. But yeah. Scott Hicks reminds me this morning, no, there can be consequences for that. And we've watched several attorneys get censured and disbarred here in Florida for their part in things like this, awful statements that have cost them their jobs. So it's entirely possible that the state bar associations, where those lawyers are licensed, could take action against them, and I certainly hope that they do. So don't think that that's necessarily consequence free. That's a thing that could happen.
Here's hoping.
Yep.
I have other news.
Yes.
I'm putting sugar in my coffee this morning.
What?
I never put sugar in my coffee. That's as
falling iguanas.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm doing it with a fork, which is weird, but whatever.
Man, you don't know what you're doing.
It's that kind of. Oh my God, that's too much sugar. Fuck it. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a weird kind of morning. George, Mom said Conway was on CNN or something earlier. That's the thing. I thought it was Kellyanne, but apparently it was George Conway, who is amazing as a conservative. It's interesting the number of conservatives that, like, genuine conservatives that I actually like now, and mostly because they hate the same person that I do.
Yeah, the never Trumpers. They bother me. Like, this is your line.
That's fair, right? Like, that's fair. And again, like, Nicole Wallace is one of my favorite people, but she literally worked for the Bush campaign, and kind of talks about it like, oh, it was kind of dark or whatever what we were doing. They're like, yeah, a couple million Iraqis, dead. Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. But at the same time, she's amazing and hates Trump. So there you go.
Yeah. Bubble Biz says, so far I let myself be gaslighted by paleo-conservative Nick Fuentes. Listen, what we talk often about gaslighting on this show, because we feel like we are a gaslight shelter. This is the place, if you have friends that are also feeling attacked by the lack of truth in the arguments being made by conservatives in your world or in ours, right? In your country or in ours, this is a place to come and talk about that. Like, we want to make sure, we want what we say every day is, no, this is really happening. The president really lies about all these things. The president really did disparage disabled people and did brag about grabbing women by their genitals. Yes, he really did those things. And the idea that he says a thing and then his people say, no, he didn't really mean that, or he didn't really say that. Fuck you. Yes, he did. That's gaslighting. And so we're a gaslight shelter here. And we appreciate that you brought it up. Thank you.
So Chris Wallace, infamous Fox News talking head.
Yep.
Apparently he said yesterday he would not be said that he would not be especially pleased if you're President Trump watching the White House defense of him in the opening round of the Senate impeachment trial. I think that's pretty smart on the part of the Democrats, because they actually the comments came as Democrats would need 20 Republican senators to join them in a vote to convict Trump and blah, blah, blah. So I think that's pretty smart on the part of the Democrats. They are taking this time to, in effect, make their opening argument, which apparently they weren't necessarily supposed to do, but it's really smart that they did it.
Yes.
To make the case against the president, to make the case for why the Senate needs to hear from more witnesses, more evidence. And I think to some degree that the White House lawyers are making a mistake. Wallace said during Fox News live coverage, they are basically saying there's nothing to see here. All of this is bogus, while the House managers are taking every second of their 1 hour to make whatever case they want to make. The longtime anchor continued. I'd be very curious to see what the White House lawyers use. My bet is it wasn't even a half an hour. Oh my God. And this is being watched by millions of people on the 3 cable channels. I don't know why you wouldn't take the time and every second you have to make an argument on behalf of the president. That's the thing. They don't fucking have one.
Right.
Like
They
there
can't
is
argue the
no,
facts.
there's no argument. Hey, shout out to my co-host on the Moving Forward podcast
Hey,
who
Rio,
just
good morning.
popped into the comments. He's still up from last night. I do not know how.
Maybe
We
he
polished
put some coffee in his sugar.
I guess that's my game plan this morning. Yeah, we stayed up. We stayed up really, really late. Well, we were on the dividend report, which is another thing on YouTube, and we're going to have him on here again because he's awesome, and he's more famous on YouTube than us.
Yeah,
but he's great. Right? So Rio and I were guest appearing on his show, and had a great time and had like a little glass of whiskey because we were actually having a freaking a brotherly argument before that. So it was good. And we ended up staying up till like 2:00 in the morning on our time here in Florida, just shooting the shit and recorded a 2-hour long. I didn't know it was 2 hours until this morning, a 2-hour long, just shooting the shit, having fun time for our Patreon supporters.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's called,
how come we never have any fun? How come you're out 2 time and me having fun with Rio?
It's called Eating Babies. So yeah. $1 a month gets you Patreon access to the Moving Forward podcast. In fact, it has just, and we've been releasing video episodes of all of our audio podcasts for the Moving Forward podcast. But it suddenly just became very, very worth the $1 to go and get it.
Yeah,
because it's some funny fucking shit.
Yeah, does he know we named an episode "Flooding the Zone with Shit" the other day?
I think we talked about that
in our episode titling these.
Agreed. Seth from the Dividend Report last night was saying that all you really need to do to get 30,000 views on YouTube is to put AOC in the title.
Have we done that today?
We haven't. We should have. I mean, oh my God. Actually, you know what?
We should test that theory.
I'm totally going to test that theory. So hashtag coffee, where we put AOC. Let's even hashtag it. No, let's put AOC in the title of things.
Yes.
Boom.
The problem with that is what's
awesome.
going to happen to our comment section within minutes.
Oh, hey, if any conservatives want to come in here and badmouth AOC, I'm up for that fight. I've got coffee with a shit ton of sugar in it.
She's a Marxist. You know how they are.
Oh, burn. No. Denied.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
I have thouts about that, but I won't.
Yeah,
it's the first time Rio's ever joined us. I'm not going to go after him.
No, and honestly, we need to have Rio on the show because it's like in comment threads and in messenger threads, the conversation, tends to be every once in a while kind of useful, but very often not. But again, we talked for 5-6, like just when we're face to face, it's a different thing, and it's way better. And I'm proud of the work that we're doing there.
Yeah, I already have anger issues. I don't think I should. I don't want to lean in.
Yep.
Let's see what else is going on. Oh, here's one. Here's a good one. The problem that I was having here was that the links were too long, and I have not figured out the tiny URL thing yet. Sorry, I apologize. There's probably like an app that automatically puts these things in line for you. But Russian government bank deposited $500 million into Deutsche Bank's subsidiary
yes.
as it was loaning money to Donald J. Trump.
What?
$500 million. They just deposited all that money in it was Gazprom Bank. That's a name you probably have heard, especially if you read Rachel Maddow's excellent book.
It's so good.
Blackout. This is the thing. Like, book, right? Is it Blackout? What's the name of the book?
Blowout.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the how many coincidences are there going to be, right? Before we start, and this really is the key to my pet theory, right? The Panama Papers mentions Donald Trump 3,000 times. He's got properties in Panama and elsewhere where they're selling condos to, unregistered, companies that are coming out of Russia. Deutsche Bank is lending them shit tons of money, right? And Deutsche Bank is actually the center of money laundering in the Panama Papers and everywhere else in the world, right? Like how many dots do you need before you realize that Donald Trump is laundering money for the Russian mob and government, period.
Right.
that's just a thing that's happening.
What was Lev Parnas's job in the 80s?
Wasn't it selling properties for
condos for Fred
Trump?
Trump? A native Russian speaker.
Yeah.
Not Russian, but he speaks Russian like a native. Guess who they were selling condos to?
Yeah.
It's Russians.
Yeah.
The answer is Russians.
The answer is Russians.
Yeah.
So here's something really
Rio. Fuck off, Rio. Leftists are right. Jibber jabber. Yeah. Okay. That's hilarious.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah. But you know what else is true, Rio? If you go far enough left, you get your guns back.
Okay. I haven't had enough coffee with sugar.
Lefties are against guns. Lefties are against guns. Communist revolutions. You go far enough left, you get your guns back.
Oh, that's okay. Fair enough. That's weird.
Yeah.
All right.
It's vaguely threatening, not to Rio personally, but
Well, and honestly,
there was a need for all those Marxist revolutions, Rio. That's my point. Those Marxist revolutions that you have a problem with.
Well, no, and
guess
honestly,
what? They were what changed things.
That's actually why Rio is doing all the stuff that he's doing, because he realizes that pitchforks are an option and we should try and avoid it.
Yeah. And all I'm trying to do is keep my conservative friends from getting their heads lopped off when the guillotines start getting rebuilt.
For the record, Greg says that all the time, and he's not kidding. And so there you go. It's
violent revolutions are not. We should never ever romanticize violent revolutions, because when the killing starts, it's not who you think should die that dies. It's fucking everybody.
Yeah.
And so anything I can do to forestall that, to push that further down the road, to make it less of a possibility.
Oh shit.
Whether it's left or right driven is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And so somebody's going to call me a centrist now, I guess.
Well, no, and I like that's almost a perfectly paraphrased. I mean, we talked about like what the sort of modus operandi for the Moving Forward podcast is, right?
Right.
And that's really what it is, right? Like we're a genuine conservative and a dyed-in-the-wool progressive trying to save the country, right? And that's like hashtag coffee is exactly the same thing. Only we're two progressives, like old farts that are like, hey, like maybe we should vote more and not vote for fucking clowns like that. What a strange idea, but. We absolutely will talk to have anybody on, talk to anybody, who is willing to join in that fight. By the way, Mom just said the latest poll on CNN has Bernie up 11 points versus Biden.
Yeah. I don't know.
What is that? What just happened there? What's going on right now?
I haven't been listening to enough 538 lately, and polling is making me crazy. Like,
I want the voting to start so bad.
2 weeks away from the first primaries. Iowa's a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll know a lot more on the day after that than we did.
Well, and I think, because I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Like there are people that are going to have the potential to overperform in Iowa, Yang, and we'll see by how much. It might be 1%, it might be 5%. We don't know.
Right.
But I'll be excited to see what happens there. For me, I'm not really going to feel like I have a sense of the race until New Hampshire, because the results, I think, between Iowa and New Hampshire are going to be fundamentally different. Which is actually kind of normal, but we'll see how that goes. And then of course, once South Carolina happens, the race could change again. And then we have Super Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, very close after that, where even California is voting. Like it's going to be, I mean, by then, and I think the DNC is doing this on purpose. They want to have the race as established as humanly possible. But there's so many people running in such a tight, clump at the top, like 4 or 5 people, that we still might not know after Super Tuesday. And then, it's going to be amazing for the horse race.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jen Rupert will know this better than I do. But if I'm not mistaken, this close to the Iowa primary, John Kerry was -8. Like he was polling lower, and he ended up being the nominee when he ran for president. So,
yeah,
anything can happen. Anything can happen in the first few weeks of the primary season. So Boxer Cat up there with where'd it go?
Klobuchar has the most endorsements.
About the Russia story. That sounds innocuous, Greg. Nothing to see there. Gazprom Bank. Yeah. What do we care what a Russian bank does?
Yeah, right. And this has been frustrating me for a while. I don't know if you follow Matt Taibbi. He's one of my favorite writers. Like covered the Wall Street stuff and the sit-ins and all that kind of Occupy Wall Street, and has been amazing on a number of stories. Has decided that the Russia thing is a hoax and talks like it all the time. and denies real evidence all the time.
Right.
Like one of the smartest journalists I've ever seen, like in to get his anti mainstream media bona fides is just having his brain leak the fuck out of his skull.
Yeah.
Right. It's incredible. Like there is real evidence. This is not a thing that you can just say, oh, the Democrats keep screaming about this thing. You're literally buying propaganda from Trump and then spreading it around. Like it's insane. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck to say about that except that it's criminal and sad.
Non sequitur. No, it isn't. I'm not sure what
yeah.
referring to there.
Rio, we require context because all comments come in about 30 seconds
after we actually,
yeah. So no, it isn't to something.
Lori says loving Amy Klobuchar more and more. You know what? There's not. This is the thing. All of the crap about Warren and Bernie and Biden and blah blah blah. Look, I have my favorite. I have my favorites. I have the 3 or 4 that I would be super, super happy with as the nominee.
Yep.
But frankly, they're all better than a tin pot dictator wannabe.
Right.
Lies to us 15,000 times in 3 years.
100x better.
All of them are better, including Biden, including Bernie, including AOC.
I mean, AOC walks on water. Fuck you.
Yes, like I heard she's going to run for president this year, Cory.
She should be. She should be Bernie's vice president.
Yes, that's as believable as they're going to have to add 3 years on to Trump's term because of all this impeachment nonsense.
There's an age limit, folks.
I heard a really good analogy for that. The bullshit argument that this is trying to overturn the election. Right. I heard a really good counter argument to that. Yes, saying this impeachment is trying to overturn an election is like trying to say that giving you a DUI ticket is trying to overturn your getting a driver's license. It's not. Yeah. You got the driver's license and then you committed a crime. So you it's not that, it's not trying to overturn the election, because if we wanted to overturn the election, we would seat Hillary Clinton as president of the United States.
Right.
That's
exactly.
What that would look like. No one is saying that. So,
Ginny, I would urge you, because I've got some problems with Gabbard as well. Go listen to her podcast with Joe Rogan, and then tell me if you think she's not 100 times better than Trump, because she is. Right? Like any fucking Democrat, and almost any Republican would be better than Donald Trump.
Right.
In fact, we're actually going to have a presidential candidate on the Moving Forward podcast pretty soon, who's actually the UBI caucus running as a Republican in the primary, which of course there is no primary, but so that'll be fun.
Bubbaviz is saying I will be voting for the populist candidate here in the Netherlands, and I'm curious about that because the populist movements tend to be sort of right leaning. Is that true in the Netherlands? It's hard for me to imagine the Netherlands moving right ever on anything, but I'm curious as to what the populist candidate there represents.
Good question. Yeah, what is that like? Populist candidate. What does that mean to you, Bubbaviz? And also, thanks for coming on, man. It's like you're making us more worldly and shit.
Yes.
Which is fun.
And more worldly and shit is actually one of our stated policy goals here. At
more worldly and shit is actually the name of my country band.
Okay, that's Rio. It isn't the fact that Trump is the president that makes him disreputable. It's that he's Trump. Talk to anyone in the business in his area. He's a phony. Yeah, and we all knew that before he got elected president.
Right.
It makes it all the more astonishing that, we need a business, man. We need to run this country like a business. No, we don't.
Yeah.
No, we fucking don't. Because that means, the way Trump runs a business is deregulation and not paying people, ignoring laws and regulations and not paying people. That's not how we want to run our country. No country should run like a business. That's bullshit. That's a bullshit analogy. I don't.
It just doesn't work, and it was all a lie anyway.
That would mean that we would be in favor of cheap labor, which would mean we bring back slavery.
Oh, burn. Just the incentives are wrong, right? Like government as a whole is a collaborative effort, and business can be, but that's not what it's designed for. They're just different. Oh shit, left wing centrist, but also nationalist like Trump is the populist candidate. That doesn't sound good at all. That's, okay, all right.
That's Rio's worst nightmare right there. a lefty nationalist.
Well, honestly,
Booga.
that's what Trump is, right? If you, and Rio talks about this all the time. If you look at Trump's actual policies, he's basically a leftist, right? Trade protectionism is totally lefty, right? Like in normal, like big terms, not like tribal terms, right? In poli-sci terms, which is what Rio harps about all the time. But like trade protectionism is traditionally a lefty idea. Anti-interventionism, militarily is traditionally a leftist idea. Like that, he's a fucking leftist. In now, he's a leftist the way fucking Hitler was, but still. Yeah, no, it's weird, and it's how he won, right? Like he's not like you couldn't run as like an actual conservative, like Newt Gingrich, right? Like espousing conservative values, even though he was a joke, because honestly, all conservatives that gain any power in this country are a joke, literally. But he had to go in, and he borrowed a bunch of the things that Bernie Sanders was saying. Right. And that's how he basically tacked to what he considered the middle. And that's how he managed to get, anyone to vote for him, which is, ridiculous. And every bit of it was a lie, of course.
I'm trying to imagine any left of center candidate in the past 12 years locking up children in prisons at the border and trying to cut off all Muslims from coming here.
Right.
That's not a leftist ideal.
Hold on. Because we're having the same argument that Rio and I have had a lot in the beginning, right? We identify as people of the left because people keep calling us people of the left all the time. You and me, Greg, right? So that's a tribal identifier. We had to separate that out to talk about, poli-sci leftism or whatever, because there are countries that espouse to leftist ideas or whatever, right? That absolutely would do that. Right. So those countries are wrong. They fucking suck. So that we really.
All right, but the problem is trying to internationalize the context in which we're having a conversation about American politics.
Right. No, the whole and this is why the conversations we have on the Moving Forward podcast are very challenging sometimes, is because we basically had to reestablish functional language because we're coming from different silos. Right. Because I had the same reaction that you have. Like, you can't, I would take it personally if you said leftist idea and anything bad. Right. That clearly were not what the Democratic Party or what I as a progressive would think. Whereas having to separate it out as a poli-sci term that can have a global context or whatever. It was just it's really complicated. And I have not had enough coffee with massive piles of sugar to.
How you like sugar in your coffee?
I'm all right with it. Ordinarily, I drink it straight up black. But this morning I put some brown sugar in it, and it's not hurting my feelings at all.
Cool. Cool. So
anyway.
The second day of the impeachment hearings will get underway around 1:00. Honestly, I'm not up to live streaming it. I'm just not. I have to say that plainly. I'm glad we're all paying attention and watching, but I just don't think I could sit here and not scream at my computer for several hours.
Yeah. I couldn't do it either. Rio, just also kick Christians out.
Okay.
Damn, Daniel. That said, I don't think we should kick Christians out. I think we should invite them to our secular church Sundays on this channel.
Yes.
10 a.m.
on our Minecraft server.
Yeah. Or on this Minecraft. YouTube channel, we're gonna be streaming it live as well. I'm excited about it. I don't know what sermon number 2 is going to be like, because the first one was sort of, we did the Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot, which really good call, by the way, Greg, actually playing the audio from it.
That's a clip we should put up on as a YouTube video.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really awesome to have a few people there, which we did. We had a few people in the server and a few people watching live with us. And it was, so my aunt was watching, and she was watching with her 2 grandkids. It's my grandniece and nephew, whatever. And so, in the comments, we asked people like, hey, if you have any gratitude, like the entire cathedral that we built is built around these gratitude monuments where you can get a sign in Minecraft and just put a permanent little gratitude up on that thing. And we had people listing out things they were grateful for, and the kids had a couple, and Gail had some. And also, like, I'm choking up just thinking about it. Like, just the act of me doing that for them was like an emotional thing. And we start, I'm using the term church on purpose. I'm using the term sermon on purpose, because as secular people, we don't have that kind of automatic presumed community, and that the sort of the positive things that sort of organized religion have offered in our society. And actually, I was listening to a New York Times editorial board columnist who's actually on Rogan, and they had a whole thing, like the 10-15 minutes on how the fact that so many people are going away from religion, that impulse is going somewhere. And they were sort of speculating about whether or not that was showing how Trump is kind of possible, right? Or how even like the diving into political parties might be where some of that energy that has been going on for 20, 30, 40,000 years as human beings is going.
Right.
So, I had a suspicion that us doing that was I mean, I've wanted to do something like it for a really, really long time, but I think that might be really, really important work. And I'm really, really excited that we're trying it, that we're just doing it. Right. Yep. And having the,
what happens when you give secular humanists a live stream?
Right. There you go.
Do gratitude things with it.
That's what's going to happen, man.
Yeah. I've been thinking more and more about the space out on the point where you got all the sand for the cathedral, as a like where we're going to do our interviews. I have an idea to make that into like a studio.
I like it.
Yeah. I
like it.
Acquire something.
Speaking of which, the Seth from the Dividend Report was kind of asking about all that stuff. So I'm going to get him set up on Minecraft. He might be our first interview.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. And Rio, honestly, get Minecraft the Java version, because I would love to have you actually in that space and do an interview with you there too. We'll make sure we kick out all the plebs. You fucking bougie fuck.
We're also I'm working on how to start an economy. I've been watching videos of how other people have done that in other servers.
Right. So
there's a way to tokenize Minecraft. You can actually, there are programs that will let you manage a crypto token system in
are you serious?
Yeah.
We have to do that. Because I can get a token.
We're going to need a paid server and a bigger one because.
Okay. So here's the deal. I can launch a token, right? Or like, we should just call it church, because that shit's fucking funny.
Podcraft.
Podcraft. What was the other one?
Mindcast.
Mindcast. Yeah, both of them are amazing.
We're going to start calling our show the Podcraft Mindcast.
Yes, that's so good. Because I think we should use both, because I love them both. So we can. Please show me that, because we could start a token.
You're gonna have to watch videos, though. You're gonna have to.
Fine, whatever. Honestly, I don't care if there's a way to link a token to a Minecraft economy, we're gonna do it.
Right.
Because I think that intersection, again, like, we're ahead of our time on this. That's where all of this is going, right? If you're not on Chirp yet, we're getting paid for likes and comments and posting on Chirp with links token, like this kind of microtransaction kind of thing, and people being able to move in and just create their own economies. I mean, that really at base, that's what Shipple was, right? Right. Like, it's just a bunch of people that said, hey, we're just going to have a token for no reason and use it to kind of imbue value with different actions or whatever.
Right.
And so go ahead. No, go ahead.
There's a video series I'm going to want you to binge on YouTube.
Okay.
And you'll get why. Like, the guy is funny. He's charming. He's English. It's part of a collective. And what they do is they build a world with a central trading area where if you have a bunch of iron, you can trade it for diamonds. If you have a bunch of sticky, to make sticky pieces of slime balls, like there's a trade economy within the game. Now this is not tokenized, but I want you to see how these Minecrafters use this in the survival world to make astonishing things. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to want you to binge Hermitcraft season 6.
That's so nuts. Okay. So, church token. If you like, as an example, right? Like well, and I think that this one is kind of more around the actual churchy part of it. So I think if we do that, well, I guess we could do it in that in our church world, but I was thinking about maybe starting another one.
Well, the other thing is we can copy the church world into a survival world. Like we could copy it as is to another place.
Like we could fork it. We're forking it. But yeah, Kurt and I from Chirp were talking about different models for some projects that we're thinking about. And I keep trying to get him to make a subscription model for Chirp. Because I want, right now, like if you go on Chirp and you like a post, it costs like 0.01 links token, which is about 0.02 cents or whatever it is. And the user gets that, like the creator gets that, which is fun. So I want a like button and a love button, which is 5 times more. Again, these are all microtransactions. They're tiny. And a mega like, which is 1 links token, which is like 25 cents. And then a subscribe button that's right there that allows you to basically, like if I see an awesome Greg post, I can, click on that, pick the amount that I want to do. And maybe it's like a 0.02 penny, or maybe I want to give them a links token or $1 worth or whatever it is every month. Right. And have that all in line. And he was thinking of having something that actually was kind of like what I was trying to do with the mom token, have a staking mechanism, right? So you buy $10 worth of church token, say, and you stake it. And for as long as it's staked, you get access to whatever, like maybe it's the private live stream or whatever we want to do, right?
Nice.
And if you unstake it, you can then sell it. So you can basically, get that value back down the road.
Right.
But it makes that the access to that thing a commodity that is tradable, which is interesting. I'm not sure which one is better. It's an interesting kind of thing.
Donna Van Meter, we call her Laugh Track. If you're new to our streams, Laugh Track came up with Gratabucks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Bubble Viz and Boxer Cat are having an interesting conversation about the nature of Dutch folks. Bubble Viz, we the Dutch are famous for our rudeness and directness. Boxer says, I think y'all are more pragmatic than rude. Pragmatic is exactly the word I would use to describe the folks I know who are Dutch, which is a small sample size, admittedly. But yeah, Carrie's husband, Gus, very, very pragmatic and direct, not rude, friendly, smiling, always invites people to his house, a really charming guy to hang around with, but direct. He will ask you hard questions to your face. He does not, there's no bullshit within him. So I like that.
Greg, we need to flesh out this freaking tokenized world thing.
Okay,
it's like it's in my head now.
That a lot of the stuff that makes it happen is a little over my head.
But I know people.
It's stuff and get you to the right resources.
I'm gonna ask people that are infinitely smarter than me.
Right.
That intersection, like that basically just drives every single thing that my brain is going out and trying to get access to. It drives it all into one locus, which is really fucking compelling to me. Okay, so we'll figure that out.
Yep.
Fun. That's fun. So okay, like the access to it, because I was thinking about people coming in and donating, for example, to and donate whatever amount or whatever, right? To get a sign out of the box. To then put it up on the thing.
Right.
With this, like, it could cost church token.
You're sounding very Catholic right now. It's kind of hilarious.
Well, and
buy a votive candle, say a prayer.
Right. Like I'm intentionally copying these things that are, because honestly, like, it costs money to make that, and you're not going to build a Vatican, without stealing money from the poor. What? So not that we aim to do that, but there is when we were doing Shipple, like that expression of value as a thing imbues the action with something for the person who's actually giving the token up. Right. So there's like a valuation there. Right. And also, like, the people that are amazing and are donating to the show feel a bit of ownership around that, which is why I highly recommend you go to SoLocal.live and even just pledge $1 a month to the show. See what I did there? Just brought it right back around.
That was great. That was very good.
Yeah. I'm training.
We got a lot of comments this morning. We're like,
you guys are awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
This sugar and coffee thing's like, bam,
right?
Bam.
Like, it's been a while. I've been drinking my coffee black for my iced coffee though, cream and sugar, because that's just awesomeness.
It's like a treat.
Yeah.
Michelle took me to this Cuban place that's actually like it's like a big restaurant close to the beach, but has like a window open where you can get, stuff and just kind of walk away. And so she got a Cuban coffee and it was this tiny little thing. But then she has like even tinier little like tiny half-size thimbles, and she like pours a tiny little shot of this coffee and like get to have one, and they're like super sweet and like hyper strong, which is fun. And then we have a couple of those, and then I'm like, well, I just want my own. She's like, no, it's too powerful. Like, have you met me? I drink coffee like it's air. Like, come on now. But I want to go get some more. So
also my favorite application of that kind of coffee is to mix it, like pour that into a normal sized coffee cup of cream, and then toasted Cuban bread with butter to dip in the sweet coffy. Best breakfast on the planet.
She actually got us.
As long as you lived here, I'm disappointed you never got to go and experience that down in Ybor, because that's good stuff.
By the way, I think we're coming back the weekend of the 17th.
Okay. Well, it would have to be.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm gonna be able to hang out with everyone and say hi and stuff.
Good.
Church token. God damn it, Greg.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Bye, Boxer. Thank you very much. We love you, Elizabeth. Thank you very much. And thank you for the socks, by the way. I actually needed socks yesterday, and thanks to your generous Sasquatch socks gift, I was able to do that. There was just a floating roadie in the background of your shot. It was cute.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he likes to hang out on the we got like a couch bed behind me.
Dude. I've been really enjoying watching the adventures of your dogs. Enjoying their life down there. That's pretty good.
They're like, we had a big yard and we were worried about moving them into a small apartment and stuff, but again, this morning being the exception.
It also makes you guys get out, right? You guys need to get out to get the dogs out, so that's good. I have not been eating that good for the last couple of weeks, but I'm still down 6 pounds. Nice.
Because I walk like everywhere, right? Like I'm 6,000 steps in before 8 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
So that's been good.
Yeah, that's something I need to do.
I think we can do this, dude. Like,
I know we can. I watch videos about how things.
But like Fred's gonna fucking shit bricks when I tell him about this. Like anything that has to do with gaming,
right?
Fred, the guy who created Links Token,
right?
That he in his again,
he's gonna know about this because it's not a new thing.
Okay,
right? Tokenizing
anything
Minecraft
that has
servers is not
to do with games will immediately jump to the top of his priority to help us do.
Holy shit!
So.
Okay. Well, I gotta get a lot better at
managing
servers then, because if we ended up with a rush of people, we don't want any mad air bombers in our server.
Hashtag figure it out. But that's the thing. You get like you only get whitelisted when you buy church token.
There you go.
Right? Like that, everyone, that we do it the same way. I do like the idea of copying it out so that we can sort of, okay, this is going to get really meta. But when you make a program, you always have the test program, like the build program is something that you're building on like a test net or whatever, right?
Yeah,
and
there's a command for that called World Builder. You can only
no, it's what we're doing already. And so the that's the one where you and I would be building DNA molecules, and it's quiet, and it's like that's where we do the show, whatever, right? But we save that every week and update that to the primary
into a survival world. Yeah.
Or where I didn't even know about survival.
Well, for some of the things that are valuable to trade, you only get in a survival world. So we're back to the thing where either the godlike powers guy has to.
You have to understand
those things.
The thing that we're trading is church. Now, everything else in the economy in the world, I'm very curious about that too. But you could actually provide any of those things that like the like that could come from the bank, and you're the bank.
I got you.
Right. So. Yeah, and again, don't get me wrong. Like we might actually do the other thing anyway, but that world would constantly be getting destroyed, and that would annoy the fuck out of me. Now, granted, we could actually just re-upload it every week too.
Right.
We'll talk about that later. But that's
what a couple of nerds.
Seriously, we're onto something like that. Like the secular church idea is interesting. Like obviously all the sort of like, art that we're creating in the space and really encouraging people to come out. Like we could sell real estate, Greg, right? Like the amount of area, right? You can get one of those maps that you're doing, and every single square 100 meters or whatever is a token,
Right.
right?
Shitty's asking, does this fall within Mojang's terms of service? I thought you couldn't charge for items on servers. You know what? You might be onto something. I'll have to check. But I know there are people doing this. I just don't know. I hope
we can't charge money.
Right.
Now, could you trade church token in for something on Nudex, which is a decentralized server? Yes, but I didn't list it.
Interesting. Let's find out.
Laugh track. They say God provides, so nailed it.
Yeah. All right. Let's say, hey, it's 5 minutes after 11. We have done a full hour of coffee goodness this morning.
I'm gonna message Fred like right now.
Well, no, don't do that yet. Let me look and see that it's something that's manageable for us in the context that we want it to be.
I mean, they can't stop us, Greg. Think about this. Like, I want to have it integrated so that it's in game and seamless, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
Right? Can we make a token? Yes. Can we tell everyone in our server that XYZ things are costing XYZ, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Right?
Right.
And I mean, ultimately we have, and this goes into the whole governance model of the way the civilization works, right?
Right. Jenny, it's also possible that only applies to public servers, right? So, maybe a private or whitelisted server may have different rules. So we'll see, because what you don't want is random 8-year-olds getting in and trying to buy things and spending real money from the real world. I think that's probably why Mojang has that in their TOS.
Right. Which makes sense, right? So, and I mean, the only people that are going to be able to access this are going to have a Lynx wallet, and they're going to, you know what I mean? Like it's a new agey sort of, I doubt anyone has tried this before, quite frankly.
No, I think they probably have.
Well, not with Lynx, right? Like maybe with like Bitcoin or something like that, like the stuff that requires freaking, some crazy interface to use. This could end up becoming seamless down the road, right? Like they're like Kurt could probably make an app where we could make it seamless, but it like in the beginning it would have to be manual, like we were doing Shipple, I think, because like having that integration is gonna be weird.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. That's interesting.
This is the second good idea I've had in a year.
Yeah, you should just rest up, man. Genius.
Yeah, that's I'm not feeling very rested these days, and that's what I took this time off for. And I'm, full disclosure, Greg's been having some living like a hermit problems, and I'm trying to. I don't want to even say I'm trying to break out of that. I know that it's necessary for me to break out of that, and often that's motivated by an idea that I just can't shake off. So maybe this is that. That's why Vote Fest happened, because I was having a crisis.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Messages. Do you want to see if the server's on and like go hang out a bit?
Shit. Yeah. It's on. You have to update to 1.152 if you have not done so already. Otherwise, it will not let you.
Oh, like the Minecraft.
Yeah.
How do you update Minecraft?
But when you start it will auto update to the new version. But because I was running some mods, it wouldn't let me log on until I had to start the non-modded version. So I don't have my special amazing voxel map anymore. I have to figure out how to get all that reinstalled.
Is it 1.15.2?
Yeah, 1.15.2, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the server was working when I was on this morning, so we should be good to go.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much for hanging out on hashtag coffee. Thank you, Jeannie, for the tip today. Again, we're working up to the point where we have 1,000 people on YouTube, so that we can actually monetize this channel. So you're actually going to be able to buy a comment, which is kind of like tipping us in real time, and your comment will go right to the top. So that'll be fun. It'll all be kind of seamless and right embedded in YouTube and stuff. So if you know anyone that you can cajole into subscribing to the channel, we would really appreciate it.
Right.
And of course, thank you to all the people that have been supporting the show for a year. There's like 8 or 9 people that have been supporting us just in an extremely dedicated way for a long time. And I just want to throw some gratitude at you.
Beautiful.
We could make a token that was just called gratitude, dude. Like that might even be better than church. I just like church because it's ironic.
Yep. Hey, BubbleViz, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sticking with us for the hour. We would love to have you subscribe. It costs you nothing, and invite your friends, because we really do like to broaden our horizons. And here, I needed to hear about populist leftist.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Like that.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. So if anybody is interested, we are playing the Minecraft Java edition. You can't join us from a PS4 or Xbox version. Has to be the Minecraft Java edition, which is I think like $20, $24, something like that. If you'd like to join us in our Minecraft server, you can do that. But again, Sunday morning we're going to do another live service from the Cathedral of Reason, and I'm trying to think of what we can some other essay on reason that we could bring to the people on that. We will stream that here on the hashtag coffee page on YouTube. So thanks for choosing. Hey, he's subscribed. Thank you so much.
Woohoo!
I'm going to do that thing that all the Twitch streamers do. Hey, shout out to Popolo, new subscriber. Ding, 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 ding. We need like some sort of thing.
Oh my God, that's my new ringtone. Also, you definitely have to do that every time now. Hold on, and then do the TikTok thing.
Yeah, I like this. Ding, 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 ding. This
that's better. Thing. I like it.
All right. Thank you very much, Popolo, and thank you to all of you. Thank you, especially Ginny.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Some cash for us this morning. That's awesome. That's going, I think, directly into Greg needs a better.
I have sent it. I've sent you half already.
Oh, get out of here! Really?
I totally did, because I knew you'd be able to use it. And yeah, it's
all right.
That's
the thing. All right. We love you guys. We're going to wrap up the show now. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We are linking these back to Facebook for now. We will probably continue to do that. But we're going to do, I think, less and less shows. I think we might be off of Facebook for live feeds now, unless there's some reason for us to go over there.
That right? Like it people are joining, like which is fantastic. I think that's probably going to be the way that it goes.
All right. Yeah. Also, Sasquatch is real.
Sasquatch is real. How did you know?
I've seen him in Minecraft.
And meeting for
he has amazing purple pants.
He does. And honestly, that's real. You're gonna have to just watch us stream Minecraft live. Goodbye.